and welcome. You are listening to At Home with Ifeno. Here, we'll talk about helping women know and understand their worth, find fulfillment in who they are, and in what they do. Every other week, we'll talk about your identity as a woman, discovering your unique purpose, intentionally raising the next generation, and your influence in homemaking. I am your host, Menninger. Hello, and welcome to At Home with Ifeno. How are we doing today? Is it morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are joining and connecting with us from the world? I welcome you specially to another inspiring time on At Home with Ifeno. Are you at home as you are listening to me right now? Well, even if you are not at home, I just want you to feel relaxed, create that atmosphere of ease. Whatever you are doing on your way to work, doing the laundry, even in the kitchen, you could be listening as you are busy doing one thing or the other. Just feel at home and give us your listening ears. It promises to be a rewarding time. Wow. Can we take a deep breath? In and out. Yes. It has been a year, a long year for many of us, with a lot of activities, targets, goals, plans, and dreams. Are you one of those that usually just live on an autopilot mode? That is, you are not fully conscious of what you are doing, but you just know that you woke up today and you have started your day, your normal routine, morning routines, getting dressed, maybe preparing your children for school or trying to meet up with that appointment. You are about to strike a business deal. Do you keep doing this day in and day out, and you are not really conscious of what is going on around you? If you are one of those who lives in a default mode, that is, you don't sit down to say, okay, this and this and this are the things I'm going to do today, or in between you have a short break to look at how far your day has gone, and no matter how little you have achieved, you applaud yourself, you are grateful for the progress you have made. You don't need to wait until you get that big contract before you celebrate. You don't need to wait until everything about a particular goal is fully accomplished. Just a step at a time is what looking at the milestones and celebrating. So it brings me to our focus for today, titled Stop and Listen. Yes, I said that. Stop and listen. Wow, I'm sure many people will be like, Inferno, why should I stop and listen to you? Please, if you can, please, I encourage you and I'm advising you that you need to stop and listen. So what does it mean to stop or to take a break or to pause? It's a cessation of movement or operation, an interruption to your action. Like I just said, maybe you were actively doing something and you just heard me say you need to stop. So you are doing something, but you suddenly realize that, no, I need to take a break. I need to pause. So stopping has its own advantage. Taking a break or a pause is very key to our thriving, especially in the world we live in now. Can we remember some years ago end of 2019 into 2020. Yeah, COVID-19, when it was really ravaging and a lot of things were happening. Did you realize that whether we liked it or not, that the world had to stop in a lot of ways? Yes, the world had to take a break. The world had to stop movements from one country to another. A lot of things were shut down. Businesses had to come to a stop, as in physically, but there were online things going on. But our movement was restricted a couple of years ago, and many of us thought we wouldn't survive it, but we are here today. So could you think back and look at when COVID really was at the height of it, when, schools, religious centers, almost everything, markets had to be regulated. It came to a stop, almost a ground standstill. But there were some benefits or some good things about that stop. My condolences to those of us that lost loved ones, those of us that have lost our jobs, or life has not remained the same again. It's a global, effect that we went through, and some of us have not fully come out of it. But if you look at what happened during COVID, that stop, that standstill, there were some things that happened, and I think it's a benefit of stopping that brought us to that point. So there is a way that stopping brings about us having that conscious thought, a healthy way of handling the challenges and the issues of life. It keeps us from living in that autopilot mode, as I said. So during the COVID period, many of us, maybe we're not paying attention to many things in our lives. Maybe we're not paying attention to our health. Maybe we're not paying attention to even our family, the people we live with. We sleep under the same roof, we eat together. But that period made us see some things that maybe we were not seeing before. And it made us reconsider some decisions, Some were good, some might not have been good. So there are two sides of the coin. But my focus today has to do with stopping and then listening. Do you know that listening is beyond just hearing? Listening has to do with giving our attention to a sound. When we are listening, yes, we are hearing what another person or other people are saying. But apart from hearing the sound, we also try to understand what they are trying to communicate with us. So in our world of today, with so much, I keep saying this, with so much for us to do, many of us have been involved in so many things, and we haven't taken a break. It's sad that many times when we need to even take a break, as in go on leave, many of us refuse to. But there are negative side effects to that, because when you don't take a break, when you don't stop, you deprive yourself of restoring yourself, of giving yourself a new lease of life, of a new lease of creativity, because our bodies, we were not created to keep working and working. Even machines must stop. If we don't bring some of our equipment to a halt, for there to be a break, they will break down. So stopping at intervals, yes, there needs to be a balance of activity and inactivity, but it's a healthy way to rejuvenate, to restore ourselves, to get back to being more productive. So if you have not taken a break, the year is about to end. I have come to encourage you and to remind you that for you to thrive in our world of today, despite all the targets and all the things you want to achieve, you need to take a break. You need to stop. And then the other part of our focus has to do with listening. Yes, like I said, listening involves serious attention, not just hearing. So you know that you are not deaf, so you can hear someone speaking. But if you don't pay attention, you would not really know what that person is saying. You might miss very important information that person is trying to communicate to you. Do you know that you can listen to your body, your spirit, and your soul? Yes, we are made of three parts: our bodies, our spirit, and our soul. So some of us, like I said, live life casually, carefree, I don't care attitude. And our bodies, as I will start with, speaks to us. So you have not been sleeping well, you have not been eating well, you always come back home with headaches, pains, and you just swallow pain relievers to numb the pain and feel that, okay, it is sorted out. Do you know that constant headaches, and a lot of discomfort in your body is something you need to listen to? So you need to pay attention to your body, because if you don't have a healthy body, you cannot achieve any wonderful vision or goal that you have. The year is gradually coming to an end. Would you deliberately take out time, dear listeners, today, during this week, or before the year finally ends? You need to stop and listen to your body. And as your body speaks to you, please do not ignore. It might be a lifesaver for you. If you need to get to the hospital, please do that. Go and do your checkup. Go and check what has been, giving you that sign, because we are not listening. We are not paying attention to our bodies. Please let us stop and listen to our bodies. Our bodies speak to us every day, but many times we don't listen. Do you know that even your spirit speaks to you? Many times we say, and there was something telling me that I should not go this way, or I should not buy this, or I should not do this. The Spirit of God is with us. But we only hear the Spirit of God when we are tuned to His frequency. Yes. So we need to inculcate and develop our listening skills. Listening with our natural ears and listening with our inner ears. That part of us, that still small voice that speaks to us on a daily basis, we need to listen, because that voice speaking to us is trying to get our attention to something that could be threatening our life, that could be a lifesaver, that could even help you in the project you are doing. That voice, that still small voice, can be telling you, go this way, do it like this, and that could save you a whole lot of trouble, of struggle. So will you stop and listen today, dear listener? It's a very important skill we need to develop. And many times, you will not be able to carry out instructions if you don't listen attentively. What are the benefits of calming down and listening? The first thing I would like to share with us is that listening helps to build our relationships, our trusts in relationships. So, for example, being that we are at home with Ifeno, our home is our first place of focus. So, are you listening to your spouse? Are you listening to your children? Are you listening to your parents, your siblings, even your workers that are working for you? The help, the security person at the gate might have been telling you something. Oh, madam, this and this and this is happening, but you don't pay close attention. Dear listener, listening attentively will help build trust in relationships. Building our relationships is very key to our thriving. So do you know that listening to each other would help in doing that? Another thing listening attentively would do is that it will help resolve conflicts and problems. So maybe your boss at work has been saying something, or even your sales girl in the shop has been bringing your attention to something, but you have not been paying close attention to it. And suddenly something disastrous happens, and you start wondering, why did this happen? How did it happen? Your not listening was what caused maybe that thing to happen. So listening attentively will help us solve conflicts, problems at home, confusion. Many times we are just hearing, we are not listening. So we need to stop, calm down, get a time when you can come out of your activity, because we are people that like doing things. Some of us are always so active. And then learn to listen, learn to be still, learn to have a lone moment, reflective memories and moments. Take a deep breath. Yes, you need to breathe and pay attention to your thoughts. And do you know, in that still calmness, you would really hear a lot, even from your inner being. Dear listener, stop and listening. Another advantage of listening is that it prevents you from missing important information. Like I said, you could be hearing, but some key information, your children have told you that there is a parent-teachers forum that is coming up, and they've been told to remind you that parents need to be there. You heard it, but you didn't pay attention to the time, and then because you were not listening attentively, you missed the time for that meeting. And your children feel so bad that mommy didn't come, that daddy didn't show up. You know that our children are always delighted when they see you. Just seeing you at their school's function, it boosts their morale. It also adds to their confidence. You see them boasting to their friends, that's my mommy, that's my daddy. So would you calm down and listen to what your children are saying to you? Because it will help build your relationship with them. Your spouse is bringing your attention to something, but you are so engrossed in the project in the office. Every day, you are always running out of the house and coming back so late. Are you sure that you're not taking time to listen attentively will not cause more problems in your home? Dear listener, I've come to remind you, and myself as well, to please stop and listen before things get out of control. Another benefit of listening is that it helps us to anticipate and identify the problems. Yes, when you listen, you are able to, nip it at the bud, whatever the problems that are likely to show up. So maybe the problems have not shown up, but because you have paid attention and listened to some information about maybe your children's education, and you are like, no, I need to pay close attention to this. So you can foresee that if a particular pattern or trend follows, your child will not do well in school, will not do well in the exam. Will you take out time today to stop that hurry mode, that autopilot mode of living, and pay close attention to listen to that child today, to listen to your husband, to listen to your spouse, to listen to your workers, to listen to the house help, the nanny. They are bringing your attention to how maybe your child under their care is responding, maybe to a particular meal, or there's something in their health that is not doing well. Dear listener, I'm here to remind you, you need to stop and listen. So how can we inculcate this listening skill or habits? It doesn't happen overnight. And in a world with so many distractions now, our phones, our TV, the internet, so much that we can do online has become almost an obstacle in making other areas of our lives thrive and do well. The first thing you need to make up your mind to do when listening is you need to be focused. There needs to be an eye contact between you and the person speaking with you. It's rude for someone to be speaking to you and you are with your phone, typing or checking something, and the person is speaking seriously with you. I don't like that for one. Yes, you are looking at me face to face, eye contact, shows me that you are really listening. So when you are so busy with whatever you are doing, it just tells me that you are not listening to me. Yes, you are hearing what I'm saying, but you are not paying attention. So, number one, to inculcate a better listening skill, a better listening attitude that could be a lifesaver to you and those around you, you need to be focused and have that eye contact with the person speaking with you. The second thing that will help inculcate this skill of listening is that you should listen without jumping into conclusions. Many of us are guilty about this. So the person speaking hasn't finished speaking, but before the person finishes, you are judging the person. You are telling the person, no, that's not what I meant. Why don't you just calm down and listen until the person has finished? Don't jump into conclusions. Don't be in a hurry to judge. Just be calm and listen. The third thing I would like to say to inculcate the listening skill and to do it very well is don't interrupt. It's almost like not jumping into conclusion. Yes, you might have something to say as the person is speaking, but don't interrupt. Allow the person to finish. Allow your child, your daughter, your son, allow your spouse, allow your neighbor to finish explaining and saying what they want to say. Don't interrupt. When you do that, you also show the person that you are empathic, that you are really here, you are present and not thinking of maybe dashing out immediately they finish what they want to say. So please don't interrupt the person speaking. Listen attentively. And the last one I will share with us is don't start planning what to say next. Wow, that's one, as your spouse is speaking, you're already saying, let him just finish. Let her just finish. I already know how I'm going to tell him or her what that thing meant to me. No, please, let's not start planning what we are going to say. Let's listen to understand the next person. Yes, it is one very great habit. Listen to understand the next person. So don't interrupt and start planning what your response is going to be. Just calm down and listen. Wow, listening could be very difficult. Why? Because we want to prove ourselves. We want to show that we know we know, or we have something better to say. But it could be a lifesaver, dear listener. And you see, you are my listeners. Yes, you are my listeners. And I've come to say that improve on that your listening skills. So as you are listening to At Home with Ifeno, allow Ifeno to land. Allow Ifeno to finish what she wants to say on this episode before you start saying, no, Ifeno, that's not how it's supposed to be. Just calm down and listen. And if you have been living your life in a default mode, you are just going. Every morning you are rushing out. You don't take out time to even sit down and just be still. You don't even calm down when you come back. You are always on the move. Would you please take a break and breathe and pause for a moment? You were not built to live like that. Resting, stopping, taking a break is not a reward, as one saying that I like reading says. It's a requirement for you to thrive. So, will you stop and listen today? It could be a lifesaver. Thanks for joining us this week on At Home with Ifeno. Check us out on Instagram at Ifeno17. As always, subscribe to the show to catch every new episode and leave us a review so we can continue to bring you fresh content. See you next in 2 weeks' time.